Welcome to Everyday English in Canada. Here, you will learn English in a simple and natural way, through real stories and everyday situations. Our goal is to help you practice, improve, and feel more confident with your English step by step. Before we start today's story, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, write a comment in English to practice, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new lessons. Now, let's begin. Imagine a young woman named Clara. She was born in a small town in Spain, surrounded by mountains, narrow stone streets, and friendly people who always made her feel at home. From a very young age, Clara had a dream that stayed with her: visiting Canada. To her, this country seemed magical, full of wide landscapes, modern cities, and a cultural diversity that made her curious and excited. As she grew up, Clara kept this dream alive in her heart. She read articles, watched documentaries, and even collected pictures from travel magazines. She knew that one day she would pack her bags, cross the ocean, and live this adventure. But it was not only about tourism. What really motivated her was the idea of learning English in a natural way, living in a place where the language was everywhere, on street signs, in conversations, and in daily life. Finally, her moment arrived. Clara saved money for years, planned every detail carefully, and after a long wait, she boarded a plane to Canada. The cold weather welcomed her as soon as she arrived, so different from the warm climate of Spain. Still, her eyes were shining with joy. She knew this was the beginning of a new chapter in her life. At the airport, Clara looked around with attention. She noticed the tall buildings, the bright city lights, and the different accents of the people speaking around her. Canada felt bigger and more impressive than she had ever imagined. Of course, she also felt a little afraid. Moving to another country is never easy. But Clara was sure about one thing. The very first step she needed to take was to start her English lessons. She understood that speaking English would not only help her communicate, but it would also open doors to new friendships, job opportunities, and a full life in her new home. That is why, the very next day after her arrival, even before unpacking her bags, she was already on her way to her first English class. That morning, Clara woke up early, had a simple breakfast, and walked through the cold streets. Every corner was something new. Coffee shops with English signs, people rushing to work, buses passing by, and a mix of languages in the air. She had studied some English back in Spain, but she knew that listening to native speakers would be a very different challenge. The words sounded fast and sometimes difficult, but she was determined not to give up. When she reached the language school, she was welcomed with a smile at the reception desk. The receptionist greeted her in English, and Clara tried to answer. Her response was a bit shy, but she felt proud. It was her very first real conversation in English. Soon after, she was guided to the classroom where she would meet her teacher. For Clara, that moment was unforgettable. The teacher, a friendly Canadian man with years of experience, shook her hand and introduced himself. He asked her name, and Clara answered with her strong accent, but with great determination. The teacher smiled and said something encouraging, making it clear that he was there to help her every step of the way. The classroom was small but cozy. There was a whiteboard, some chairs, and books on the desk. Clara sat down, looking around, as if it were her very first day at school again. Everything was new and exciting. The teacher started speaking slowly, explaining that in the next weeks they would work not only on grammar, but also on her confidence to speak in real situations. Clara's heart filled with hope. She knew this was just the starting point. Behind every lesson there was a bigger goal, becoming fluent in English, not to impress anyone, but to feel free, to talk, to make friends, and to build her new life. As she listened to the teacher's first words, Clara reflected on the importance of this moment. To others, it might seem like just a simple class, but for her, it was the result of years of dreams and hard work. Sitting in that Canadian classroom, she realized that learning English was not only about the language, it was about shaping a new identity, opening herself to the world, and becoming someone different from the girl who once only dreamed of leaving Spain. And so, with hope in her heart and her eyes focused on the teacher, Clara was ready to begin her journey of learning.
Hello, welcome to class. My name is Michael. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Clara. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Clara. Where are you from?
I am from Spain.
Oh, Spain. That's wonderful. And how long have you been in Canada?
Just 2 days.
2 days? Wow, that's very new. So, tell me, why do you want to learn English?
Because I want to live here, and I want to speak with people.
Very good. You are already speaking English now. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. So, Clara, I want to understand better. Can you tell me, what is difficult for you in English?
Well, I think my biggest difficulty with English is speaking. I can understand some words when people talk slowly, but when they speak fast, it is very hard for me. I know some grammar rules, and I studied English in school in Spain. But conversations are different. In school, I read texts, I wrote answers, and I practiced a little bit of vocabulary. But here, in Canada, everything happens so quickly. People talk to me in shops, in the street, even in the bus. And I don't always understand. Sometimes I feel nervous because I don't want to answer in the wrong way. When I arrived in Canada, I went to buy coffee. I thought it would be easy, but it was not. The barista asked me something very fast, and I could only say, "Sorry, can you repeat?" She repeated, but I still didn't understand everything. I just smiled and said yes, hoping it was the right answer. When I got my coffee, I felt happy, but also a little frustrated. That showed me how much I need to practice real listening and speaking. Another problem is pronunciation. In Spanish, we pronounce every letter, but in English, many words sound different from how they are written. For example, words like though, through, or enough. When I see these words, I don't know how to say them correctly. And when I try to speak, sometimes people don't understand me. That makes me feel shy. I want to speak, but I worry about my accent or about saying things wrong. Also, comma. I have difficulty with listening in daily life. For example, when I take the bus, the driver speaks very fast. Sometimes he says, "Move to the back, please." But I don't catch it at first. People around me move, and then I realize what he said. In the supermarket, it is the same. The cashier asks, "Do you need a bag?" But for me, it sounds like one long word. I freeze for a second. Then finally, I answer . In my apartment, I live with 2 roommates. They are friendly, and they speak English all the time. At dinner, they talk and laugh quickly, and I try to follow the conversation. I can understand the topic, but not all the details. Sometimes I just smile and nod my head, because I don't know how to join in. Later, when I am alone, I think, I should have said something. But the moment is already gone. My day-to-day life in Canada is very different from Spain. I go out in the morning, walk through the streets, and everything I see is written in English. Signs, menus, instructions. It's exciting, but also overwhelming. For example, I went to open a bank account. The clerk gave me papers full of English words I didn't know. I felt lost, and I had to ask many times for explanations. I don't want to bother people, but I really need to understand. Even small things show me how much English I need. When I watch TV here, I can recognize some words, but I miss the jokes and the fast parts. When I use my phone, many apps are in English, and sometimes I don't know the meaning of the notifications. I try to guess, but it's not always correct. Another thing is confidence. In Spain, I studied English grammar and vocabulary, and in tests, I was fine, but in real life, I feel nervous. I think too much before I speak. I want to make perfect sentences, but while I think, the conversation continues, and I lose my chance. I know mistakes are normal, but still, it's hard for me to feel relaxed when I talk. My dream is to be able to live here and feel free to talk to anyone. I want to make Canadian friends. I want to travel around the country and maybe one day find a good job here. But for all of that, I need English. I want to learn how to ask questions without fear, how to answer quickly, and how to understand people when they speak naturally. I also want to improve my writing because I need to send emails, fill out forms, and maybe study at a college in the future. Right now, I write slowly and I always check the dictionary. I know basic words, but I want to use better expressions so I can sound more natural. At the same time, I want to practice listening more. I feel that listening is the key. If I can understand people, I can answer. If I don't understand, I cannot speak. Many times I feel like listening is my wall, the barrier that keeps me from being part of the conversation. To explain in short, my biggest difficulties are speaking, listening, pronunciation, and confidence. These 4 things make my daily life harder. I really want to improve them because I want to enjoy living in Canada, not just survive. That is why I came to this class. I believe you can help me. You are a teacher, and you understand what students need. I want to know the best way to study, the best way to practice, and how to feel more confident every day. Can you tell me, please? What should I do to improve?
Clara, first of all, thank you for sharing your story with me. I can see how much effort you are making, and that is already a very important step. Many students feel shy or afraid to speak, but you are here using English, and that shows courage. Remember this, every word you say in English, even with mistakes, is progress. You are not only learning a language, you are building a new life. Let me give you some advice. You told me that speaking is very difficult for you. That is normal. Many learners study grammar and vocabulary for years, but when it comes to speaking, they feel blocked. My advice is, do not wait for the perfect sentence. If you think too much, the conversation passes and you lose your chance. Try to say what you can, with the words you already know. Even short sentences are good. For example, instead of trying to say something very complex, just say, I like this, or can you help me, or I don't understand. Small sentences keep the conversation alive, and step by step, you will add more now, about listening. Listening is like training your ear. At first, everything sounds fast, but your brain needs time to get used to it. Think about music. The first time you hear a new song, you don't know the lyrics. But after listening many times, suddenly you understand parts of it. The same happens with English. You need daily exposure. My advice is, listen to English every day, even if you don't understand everything. You can watch short videos, listen to songs, or use podcasts for learners. The secret is consistency. 10 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week at another important point. Try to listen actively. That means don't just let the sound play in the background. Stop and focus. Choose a short audio, listen once, then listen again and try to catch new words. Repeat it many times. Little by little, your ear will get stronger and English will sound clearer. Now, pronunciation. This is a very common problem, especially for Spanish speakers. You are right. English spelling and pronunciation are not the same. But here is some good news. You don't need to sound perfect. You just need to be understood. My suggestion is, practice speaking out loud every day. Read a text, repeat after an audio, or shadow a speaker. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say, almost at the same time, like an echo. It feels strange at first, but it really helps with rhythm and accent. Also, don't be afraid of your Spanish accent. Many Canadians have accents too, because this is a country of immigrants. People care more about communication than perfection. If you say the words clearly, people will understand you. Now, let's talk about confidence. Confidence comes with practice. You cannot wait to feel confident before you speak. It's the opposite. You must speak first, and confidence will grow after. Think of confidence like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you try, even if it's not perfect, you are training your confidence. One good idea is to practice English in safe situations. For example, you can practice with classmates, with friends who are also learners, or even by yourself. You can talk to yourself in the mirror, describe what you are doing at home, or record your voice. When you listen to your recordings, you will notice progress over time. About writing. I understand your struggle. Writing in English can feel slow and difficult, but writing is a great way to organize your thoughts and practice new vocabulary. My advice is, write something small every day. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can write a diary about your day or write short messages as if you were telling a friend. Later, you can check the spelling and correct mistakes. Writing will also help you improve your grammar because it forces you to think about structure. Now, let me give you some practical strategies. Set small goals. For example, this week, focus on introducing yourself and asking simple questions. Next week, focus on ordering food in a restaurant. When you have small goals, learning feels less stressful. Use repetition. Don't try to learn too many words at once. Choose 5 new words per day, repeat them, make sentences with them, and use them in conversations. Repetition is the key to memory. Think in English. This is difficult at first, but try to describe your actions in English during the day. For example, when you make coffee, say in your mind, I am making coffee. I am drinking coffee. This trains your brain to use English naturally. Be patient. Language learning takes time. Some days you will feel good, other days you will feel frustrated. That is normal. Don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to your past self. Every week, you are better than before. Celebrate small victories. If you understood someone at the store, celebrate. If you ordered food in English, celebrate. These small moments are proof that you are improving. Clara, you are not alone in this. Every learner faces the same challenges. The important thing is that you are here, practicing. You told me that your dream is to live in Canada, make friends, travel, and maybe study or work here. All of this is possible. English is the key, and step by step, you will open the doors. My question to you is, are you ready to practice every day, even a little bit? Are you ready to accept mistakes as part of learning? Because if you say yes, then I promise you, your English will grow faster than you imagine. Tell me, Clara, what do you think about this? Do you feel ready to start this journey with confidence?
And so, this is how Clara's journey begins. A young woman who came from Spain to Canada with a big dream in her heart, to live, to grow, and to become fluent in English. Her first steps were not easy. She felt nervous, she made mistakes, and she sometimes doubted herself. But in every challenge, there was also an opportunity to learn. Today, Clara discovered something important. Learning English is not about perfection. It is about communication. It is about having the courage to speak, even when the words are not perfect. It is about listening every day, practicing little by little, and building confidence step by step. Her teacher reminded her, and all of us, that mistakes are not failures. Mistakes are teachers. Every mistake we make shows us the path to improvement. Every conversation, every new word, every small effort brings us closer to fluency. Clara's story is also your story. Maybe you are watching this video because you want to improve your English. Maybe you feel shy when you speak, or you feel lost when you listen. But remember, you are not alone. Every learner in the world feels the same at some point. What matters is not where you are today, but where you are going tomorrow. If Clara can take her first steps in a new country, facing new challenges, then you can also take your next step in English. Believe in yourself. Practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Celebrate your small victories because they will build your confidence for the bigger ones. So let Clara's story inspire you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Speak, listen, read, write, and make English part of your daily life. Step by step, you will see the results. And now we want to hear from you. To make your learning stronger, write a sentence in English in the comments below. It can be a simple sentence like, I am learning English every day, or anything that you want to practice. Writing will help you remember, and sharing will inspire other learners too. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part of Clara's journey. Together, we will keep learning, improving, and growing in English. See you in the next video. Keep practicing and never stop learning.